I had so much control, but now I don't anymore. Oh, the bubbles flooded my brain until I couldn't think straight. I had so much control, but now I don't anymore. Oh, the bubbles flooded my brain until I couldn't think straight. So peace overflow me like a river, and death don't mess with me anymore. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war. So peace overflow me like a river, and death don't mess with me anymore. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war. Seen the prison walls fall down, and I am set free now. Oh, the prison walls fall down, and I am set free now. The prison walls fall down, and I am set free now. Oh, sing the prison walls fall down, and I am set free now. So peace overflow me like a river, and death don't mess with me anymore. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war. Oh, so peace overflow me like a river, and death don't mess with me anymore. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war. 'Cause I am done and I'm with this war.
Jesus is calling. Bring your sorrows and fill them with joy. From the ashes, new life is born. Jesus is calling. Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen.
almost 2 years ago. I was a 13-year-old girl, and I was 60 pounds, and my heart rate was 17 beats per minute. And I was dying. I was so isolated from the world, and I didn't know what to do. And worst of all, my heart was so far from God. I felt like he gave up on me because I shut out his love for so long. I shut him out for so long, and I felt like he let go of me, and I felt like it was too late. I felt like giving up on myself. And that's why I was turning to the wrong side. I was turning to the enemy and his lies. I was turning to the false identities he's given me. And I was so lost. I was turning to the enemy and his voice and him telling me that I'm not enough and that I'm too fat and that I'll never be enough. The enemy was putting these glasses on me that shaded me from the truth. I couldn't see the truth, and I couldn't see that God was right next to me, because he was always next to me. Because he was there through the highs and the lows, the darkest valleys I was in, he was there. And I didn't see that because I was going towards the enemy, but that was where he was. He was so close, and he was there. And that's what I want to share with you all today, because I almost died, and God was still there. And I didn't see it then, and y'all might not see it when you're at the darkest times, but he is always there with you. And it took me so long to see it, but I just want to share with y'all my story and my testimony, to share with you guys that God will never leave you. You are not alone. God will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. He will never leave you. And it took me so long to see that. So in 2019, a lot went down. My grandfather passed away. My dad was being even more mentally abusive. He was telling me that I'm not good enough and that I will never be enough. And he was telling me that I had to work out to be enough, that if I didn't work out and I just laid on the sofa for one day, that wouldn't be enough for him, and that I would get fat. And so those identities, labels put into me were lies, and I didn't know what to do with them. And on top of that, he even said that you have to visit me every Wednesday because your sister's not visiting me. And she disappoints me, but you have to visit me or you'll be a disappointment too. And that burden put on me was so heavy, and I was carrying this chain down my back, and I didn't know what to do. And on top of that, my mom got a new boyfriend. She got a boyfriend after her divorce. And I absolutely love him now because he's like my dad. But at the time, it was way too much change. I love you, Michael. And so all of that going on, and even on top of that, I was in this friend group that was just so unhealthy for me. I felt like I had to be someone else while I was around them, and I felt so isolated even when I was with them. So I was carrying all these things, and I couldn't control none of them. I couldn't control what my dad told me and how he acted towards me, and I couldn't control how my friends included me or how they talked to me. I couldn't control my mom and her choices. I couldn't control any of that, and I was longing for control. So I turned to the enemy, and I turned to controlling what nutrition was in my body. So the enemy was taking control fast, And every day I stepped on that scale and I saw 95 pounds. And I said, I'm so going to go to 80. And I was so committed. And so I went to 80, and that wasn't enough. And so I went to 70, not enough. And I went to 60, and it still wasn't enough for me. Because with the enemy, I was never satisfied. I was never, ever satisfied with anything. He was telling me that I'm not good enough. He was telling me that I was too fat. He was telling me that I should just give up now because you're all alone. Because he put those lenses on me that I couldn't see the truth, that I was blinded from the truth and I could not see God's truth. And it took me so long to see that. But throughout the control that I had, I was growing anger towards my family. And it was because of the enemy. I was turning to him. And that anger grew out of control because I was no longer in control. It was the enemy that was in control of me. His voices and his lies in my head just kept replaying over and over again. And I was just so lost because I didn't know who I was. And those lies just kept overflowing. And soon enough, I had to go to the hospital because I was dying and they needed to keep me alive. And if I didn't go to the hospital, I probably would have died because I was 60 pounds and my heart rate was 17 beats per minute. So after going to the hospital, I was still so out of it. I could not see the support I had because those lenses blinded me. I couldn't see the amazing support that I had. And I was told by the doctor that I had to go to Veritas, and my family was for it. So I went to Veritas, and it was an eating disorder facility. And I was there for 3 months because I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. And that's an eating disorder where the enemy killed me. He killed me from the inside. But something inside me that first day didn't give up because I was given 3 options during my meal. I could either eat the food and complete it 100% on my plate, or I could supplement. Supplementing is just a liquid meal. And the next option was sticking a tube down my throat into my stomach and getting force-fed. And something inside me kept fighting because that first day I ate every single meal. And I didn't know what came over me, but I ate every single thing on my plate. And I completed. And that first night, I was still filled with the enemy's lies. I was still filled with his voice and guilt, overwhelming guilt, that was saying that, why did you eat that food? Why did you do this? And I felt so alone. So I was going to bed, and I had a roommate, and it was like 2 in the morning, and God kept me up. And I didn't know why, and I was doing a little workout, and I'm not supposed to, but I was. I was hovering over my pillow, and I was trying to lose all the calories that I just gained, because I was terrified of that. But something inside me kept me up that night, and I was in bed hovering over my pillow, and I saw fireworks, and I didn't know why I was here, but I saw fireworks, and that was a sign from God that He was with me. And ever since I saw those fireworks, I could see the truth again. The glasses were torn off me, and I could see the truth. I could no longer hear the enemy's voices as loud as I did. And I could see the support system I had with me. My mom, Michael, my sister, Bella, and all my church community, they were all for me. And so after that, I fought. I fought with God because I learned that God will never leave me, nor would He forsake me, because He was with me. He was with me at the very top of my mountain, and He was with me falling down and at the very depths of the valley, because I was really at the valley. I was dying, and He pulled me up. And he said that you can do this, that I am with you. So I walked up that mountain with him, and I fought the good fight with him. And so I am not saying that I'm perfect, because I'm not. I spoke over myself with verses that were just truth to let God in control, because I knew I couldn't do it on my own, because I'm not perfect. I said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I am covered in the blood of the Lamb. And those were the 2 verses that I spoke over myself every single day. Every single day I fought, and I still do it. Because I know I can't fight alone, and I know that I can't do each day alone, and I need to let God in control of that day, of every single day. Because right now, I still have troubles with food, I still have trouble with family, I still have these voices in my head, but you know, they are much, much quieter. Because a while ago they were so loud, but now the loudest voice in my head's God. And he is telling me the truth. He is telling me who I am and whose I am, because I am a child of God. And what I want y'all to know out of today is that God will never leave you nor forsake you. I want y'all to really, really know that. Because he grabbed me out of the depth of that valley, and he pulled me up. And I was walking up the mountain, and I did slip up. I did fall a bit, but I didn't fall all the way down, because I was with God. And he just kept pulling me up that mountain. And I'm still climbing it. But I want y'all to know that he will never leave you. Because I felt like he left me, and I felt abandoned. And I felt so isolated. But God showed me that he was with me. And that's what I want y'all to know today, that God will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. He will never leave you. And so to close out, I am going to share with y'all this video of my wonderful sister and Bella. They're going to be talking about how they felt during the time of me fighting for my life, and all the troubles they've went through, and the battles, and the things they've learned from it. Because it might have been really hard for me, but it was also hard for them, because I don't know how I could imagine seeing my sister dying and not being able to control it. And that's how my sister felt. So this is the video that will surely come on.
Now, run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a searching, so lead me to you. Forever, Lord, I will pursue. Yes, I will pursue. You want my heart, Jesus, you're all that I want. My dedication had a plan from the start.
Hi guys, I'm Taylor Moon, and I'm Izzy's sister, and I'm a senior at Providence, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys an insight of how I felt going through the whole thing with Izzy, and my battles I had to go through personally. But I mean, growing up, I would always talk about wanting to be skinny, especially in high school. I wanted to be skinny and lose weight and eat healthy, whatever. And so it was very difficult for me to see her go through what she was going through, because I felt like it was my fault, and I felt really guilty for everything that happened, especially when she was at Wolfson's and I didn't even know if she was gonna make it. And the amount of guilt I had on me, because I felt like this was all my fault. If I just didn't say that I wanted to be skinnier that day, or if I just didn't say that I wanted to eat healthy that day, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And so took me a long time, but eventually I got to the point where I was able to forgive myself and realize that it's not my fault. And I definitely had to strengthen my relationship with God to get to that place. But honestly, it's like taught me so much, because it's really easy to try to fight these things on our own and like not get any help from anyone. Because I was like, I mean, I'm not the one going through the real issue, you know, so like I don't need God, like it's fine, like I got it, like you can go take care of my sister, you know. But it took me a little bit to realize that God cares about me too. Like it's not just like Izzy, like it was hard for me. So it was just like, it took me a lot of spending time with God and prayer, and honestly, like I wanted this Jamaica mission trip during this whole thing, and I think that's what really healed me the most. Because when you go out of town for like a mission trip and stuff, like it honestly like is different. And like I'm not saying like it shouldn't be different, like obviously I still love God when I'm in Jacksonville, but it's just more of an intimate time, I feel like, and that really helped me heal, because I kind of got to focus on myself and my relationship with God, and like instead of like focusing on like what's happening with Izzy, for once I got to work on myself. And so that's when I got to release the guilt that was on me for so long, and like also ask God to help me too, because it was hard for me to see my sister go through this, even though like it may have seemed like she was just like the only one that needed help. Like it was easy for me to say like, oh, I don't need help because I'm not going through it as directly as she is, so you need to go help her, I'm not really worth it. So me realizing that was probably like the biggest part of this whole experience for me, because it's helped me through so many other times when I feel like my issues are small and like God doesn't care, but like he does. So honestly, like if anyone's going through like anything, like small or big, you know, I just really encourage you guys to like reach out to God, because like he does care and he does help. And like whether I realized it or not at the time, like I see how many people he put in my life and like to help me through this situation, and I don't think I could have done it without those people and like the prayers and stuff. So I'm just really thankful that I was able to dig deep with my relationship with God. And that's honestly the best advice I can give you if you're going through anything like this, is like dig deep in your relationship with God, because it's the only thing that's going to get you through it. And like I know it's easy to say that like we can do it ourselves, because I told myself that for so long, but we can't. Like that's just the reality of it. Like we're not God. So I just really want to encourage you guys to honestly, even if you're going through nothing, like dig deep in your relationship with God, because that helped me so much, and it helped Izzy so much. I mean, seeing where she is today is honestly like, it's amazing, and I never thought that we'd finally be able to get here again. So yeah,
being a part of Izzy's story has taught me so many things. One being that you should constantly be checking on your friends. As many of you know, Izzy has this beautiful, friendly, outgoing personality, and as soon as her family and I started to see that slip, that was an indicator that we needed to step up and we needed to be there for her and get her the help that she needed. So whenever you notice your friends having an off day or off week, or even if it has been longer than that, check in with them, let them know that you're there and you're going to help them through whatever it is, because I promise you that will make the biggest difference in the world. My second thing would be to trust God. And I know that sounds cliche, but there were times in this hard battle where it felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, and her family was going to be in this dark place forever, and we would never get through it. But I promise, with constant prayer and encouragement, God was able to pull Izzy out of that dark place, and she's now able to share her story with others and impact others as well. So I love you, Izzy, and I am forever, forever proud of you and your journey and where you've come.
I'm not sure where we are with time. Should I just close out, or? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to do a long prayer, but it won't be very long. Okay. So if you want to bow your heads or however you pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for always being with us. And please just speak into the student body and all the teachers and staff, and just show them that you will never leave them. Just pour into them. Let them feel an overflowing amount of joy and love. Give them peace throughout this day. And let them know that whenever they are struggling, that you are there. Because everyone struggles and no one is perfect. We are all perfectly imperfect people. but just show them that you are there, that you will never leave, and show them the truth and their truth and identity. Please, Lord, just overflow them with truth. Overflow them with truth. In the name of Jesus, amen. I know that was not long, but I want to just let y'all know that if y'all are struggling with anything, God's always with you, and I am always here for you if you're struggling with an eating disorder, or you're struggling with just anxiety, or just a trouble at your house or in school. I'm always here for you if you need any help. But if you can't find me, God will be with you. He's right next to you. So, just so you'll remember that. So, that is all I have for you today. So, thank you. Snack is next. You are all dismissed. Have a great Thursday.
Ashamed of what I've done, what I've become. These hands are dirty. I dare not lift them up to the Holy